Off topic, who are those guys?
So a while back I made a video about Family Guy clones, where I discussed a bunch of adult animated shows that had a striking resemblance to Seth MacFarlane's creation, whether it be in the designs, art style, writing, or even just Seth himself taking Family Guy and slapping a new coat of paint on it. And wow, okay, I just realized this is the second time I'm starting a video like this. Well, in that video I mentioned two cartoons, Brickleberry and Paradise PD. And I really wasn't expecting the kind of backlash I got for saying that. I thought it was pretty universal that people thought these shows were awful, but instead I got comments like, "How dare you call Brickleberry a clone?" Or I like Brickleberry and the attempt to remake it on Netflix that was Paradise PD. Something about the style of comedy those two shows have I really like. Yo, I like racism. I might check that Border Patrol one out. I don't know how I feel about that soundbite being out there now. Okay, well I feel like we're going a bit off topic. But it's whatever if people like them. They must have seen something in it that I just didn't. But that doesn't mean I can't keep talking about them. And talk about them I shall. And why not kill two birds with one stone by discussing the series' somewhat recent crossover episode, aptly titled Paradise PD meets Brickleberry. You really strained yourself coming up with that one, didn't you? Around a year ago I made a video on what I considered to be the worst cartoon crossover ever, being the Family Guy and Simpsons one. Will I have to go back and change that title to the second worst cartoon crossover? Let's find out. For anyone who doesn't know, Brickleberry was an adult animated comedy created by Roger Black and Wacko Ogwin. It followed a group of park rangers working in the Brickleberry National Park. It was filled with dumb, immature jokes, poor attempts at political satire, and tried, and failed, to offend in any way possible. With these poorly animated comedies being a dime a dozen these days, Brickleberry failed to really take off at all. 3 seasons sounds impressive until you realize those 3 seasons totaled to around 36 episodes. The series was cancelled in 2015, although it was later continued in comic book form with Brickleberry Armageddon. Yes. See, the finale to Brickleberry had like alien cows come down from space and they end up murdering all the main characters. It was like some big political joke about global warming. It was very funny, I assure you. But I think the comic continued on from there and some stuff happens, I'm sure. I'll be damned if I could be bothered to actually pay for it to read. So what were the creators to do now that the project they had been developing from 2003 had been cancelled?
Alrighty, ready for our next pitch.
So long story short, Paradise PD premiered on Netflix in 2018. It featured the same basic setup, just with cops instead of park rangers, featured the same character archetypes, and featured a lot of the same voice actors. I mean, I appreciate the lack of subtlety. Paradise PD isn't better from their previous work. One of the rules for Brickleberry was making sure there was as little pop culture references as possible, because even they noticed the similarities to Family Guy, and didn't want audiences comparing the two. So for anyone still telling me the shows are nothing alike, I mean, I got the creators on my side, so come at me, I guess. But yeah, for Paradise PD, they should have implemented a similar rule where they tried their best to not just come off as Brickleberry with a blue coat of paint. Get it? Blue. Like a cop. So for some reason, I guess the two creators felt like crossing over Paradise PD with their other show that had been cancelled for almost half a decade at this point. Sure, go for it, do whatever you want. And now we have Paradise PD meets Brickleberry. Unlike their previous show, Paradise PD attempts to follow along a storyline for its season. So this one starts up with the gang trying to find somewhere to hide, after finding out one of the members of their police force had betrayed them. Take a guess at which one they decided to make the bad guy. That's right.
The only black guy.
But yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So the chief decides to take them to stay with his cousin, who just so happens to be Woody of Brickleberry. But wait, Mark. No, come on, I'm not doing this again. Didn't you say Brickleberry ended with the characters dying from alien cows? How does that work if they're suddenly alive again? Yeah, they acknowledge that right here.
Yeah, didn't we all die or something?
We got killed by alien cows. Because why let The Sopranos hold the record for worst finale?
Well, was it worth it? Was that worth this dumb self-aware reference as to how...
I miss being canceled.
Ding ding ding! That's gotta be a record, folks! We made it 45 seconds in before some butthurt jab about the series being cancelled. Because the mean television critics just don't understand the nuance. After a meeting, followed by more hilarious self-aware quips, the two teams get into a fight. That seems like it's trying way too hard to be as epic as the final chicken fight in The Simpsons guy. They even sort of open the same way.
What's your problem? We are family. Family, my blonde hairy ass!
Nobody touches the chief!
But of course they're trying to accomplish this on a shoestring budget and character rigs not meant for action like this, so it just comes off as really stilted and slow. Never mind that though, as during the fight Woody's Bar Stewie, Woody's Bar Rallo, Woody's Bar Allen, Woody's Bar... We can do this all day if you'd like. Woody's bear Malloy has gone missing, and because they know they'll be allowed to stay if they help find him, the Paradise PD offer to help with this bear napping escapade. I mean, I guess that's a fine enough setup for what's probably the most unnecessary—
Oh, this looks like the most unnecessary crossover ever.
Why am I even here? The thing's doing my job for me. I think as a standalone episode this works, but as a crossover it comes off as really bizarre. Not for the reason you'd expect either. One of the best things about animation crossovers is seeing two worlds collide that you thought would never work together. You get to see the different characters interact. It's always fun to see the writers coming up with whatever weird convoluted reason for them meeting up they have. And probably the part I enjoy most is seeing how they'll try to blend together the two animation styles. You know, it feels like an event. But with Brickleberry and Paradise PD, the issue is that the shows are just too similar. It doesn't have any sense of specialness because the shows look the same, the characters are written the same, and they even bloody sound the same. This is a character from Brickleberry called Steve. He's voiced by David Herman. Now here's a character from Paradise PD called Kevin. He's voiced by David Herman. Here's the leader of Brickleberry, Woody, voiced by the legend Tom Kenny. Now here's the leader of Paradise PD, Randall. He's voiced by the legend Tom Kenny. Do you see where I'm going with this?
You are dead to me. I never wanted to hear that stupid, annoying voice of yours again.
The characters all just blend together. There are times while watching this where I'll quickly get mixed up as to which character originated from which show. And I mean, that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. But it makes me wonder what the point in this even was. Was anybody really that happy to see the Brickleberry characters return? Because if you missed him so much, you could just turn on Paradise PD and see the recolors of him. The episode focuses way more on the comedy rather than the crossover aspect. I mean, they'd need to find something else to do when the crossover part of this crossover just consists of going, haha, you are cancelled and I am not. Whoa, aren't you similar to me? Yeah,
You can expect a lot of these types of jokes.
It's too self-aware for its own good. It gives me real drawn together the movie flashbacks, with how desperate that was to remind you how annoyed they were about their first show getting cancelled.
Look! Make a point land!
Where? I can't see it.
It's right over there. Between why you so bitter about being canceled land, and you had 3 or 4 seasons you should be happy with what you got. Most shows don't even get that land.
The comedy is really where this crossover feels though. Again, the two shows are so similar, so it just comes off as nothing you haven't seen on either of the shows. It mostly features the two teams going to different secondary characters from the Brickleberry world, but these scenes consist of nothing but awful jokes that are trying way too hard to be offensive.
What did you do, Woody?
I said E.T. for Atari is the best game ever made. You really set him off.
Aw yeah, we got references to E.T. on Atari and Dragon Ball Z. That's how you know this was made by real gamers. I wonder how happy Nintendo would be to see their brand being presented on this show. The episode tries to have a heart by explaining the backstory to Woody and Randall, with how his mother was abusive and the reason they hate each other is because Randall was selfish and wouldn't accept him into their family, but it doesn't really contribute anything to the actual plot, except for giving some dumb reasoning as to why Woody cares so much about this bear. I mean, the fact that they spent 3 seasons together was probably a good enough reason, but whatever. In the end, this crossover really failed at being, well, a crossover. I would still say The Simpsons Guy is worse, because it attempts to mesh together two shows its writing styles just don't go together. But this episode has the opposite issue. There's no sense of epicness to this event, because there's nothing special or unique about either of these shows. When I was a kid, I always wished that when Jimmy Neutron got cancelled, the characters from that show got transferred over to the Fairly OddParents universe, and made regular appearances in that cartoon, since they worked so well off each other in the crossover events. And I think a similar thing should have been done here. Paradise PD has been renewed for its 3rd season, so what's the harm in just combining the shows permanently? I can't imagine Comedy Central are that protective of this show. Like, does anyone even remember it besides me?
Oh, Family Guy in the Woods?
That's what I'm saying! I swear to God, I better not get any more comments on that video about Brickleberry not being a clone. So did this crossover do anything right? I mean, I thought this animation sequence was cool. I thought this joke was kind of funny.
Holy shit!
Brickleberry. More like Cancelberry.
Cancelberry.
Okay, I swear to God!